Right now, we want to keep the baseball conversation going as we welcome in Mike Bylone, head coach of St. Augustine Prep. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Sully. How are you today?
What's happening, bud?
Oh, same old Saturday during baseball season.
Yeah, man.
Getting right in the lineup and getting ready for a game.
How many games do you have next week? Because you don't start the first round of the playoffs until Friday. You got a first round bye. So how do you handle that situation?
Yeah, well, we got we got a game today at King's Christian, and then Tuesday we wrap up our regular season at Millville. So two good competitive games heading into the playoffs. At this time of the year, practices seem to drag a little bit. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'd rather be playing games, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. Tell us a little bit more about this year's team. Obviously, you guys are coming off a great year last year. You did lose some players. Some guys had to step into some roles. I mean, Joe Bonchak, senior starting outfielder, he decided to not play this year to get ready for college football, and you lost some great pitching off last year's team. So it was a little bit of a work in progress early in the season, but it seems like you guys have kind of found your footing midway through the season. Cole Vanderslice started turning things on there mid-season, and obviously you have some other great arms like Kenny Lavari and Jason Hoop. So never a shortage of great arms there at St. Augustine, and the bats have started to come around. So kind of was it a typical season for you guys, or how different was it this year from the last couple of years?
Yeah, this year, I mean. It was a little different only because we got hit with the injury bug this year. Losing Jerry Peacock,
yeah.
Right at the start of the year, our number 2 pitcher and our best hitter in that lineup played in two state finals for us. That was a big blow. Mason Carmelingo, one of our top relievers, he went down. Rob Reddy went down for a couple weeks. He's actually starting today, so he's back. So that's a good sign for us. It just gave opportunity for a lot of younger kids like a Jackson Vanesco and Alex Hunt to come in and shine. And a little different. A lot of moving parts this year. Definitely not last year's team. We're a young team. Brought some young kids up early on, halfway through the season. So, hopefully it's all going to pay off in the end.
Yeah, a little bit. This kind of isn't your older brother St. Augustine Prep. A little more of a scrappy team. Not a ton of power like you guys have had in years past. So you guys are having to do a little bit different things to score runs. And I've been impressed with the way some of these guys have been battling at the plate. And in years past, you might have gotten a guy or two on and hit a big 3-run homer or a 2-run double, something like that. And this year it's more of single, steal, bunt, sac fly, that kind of thing. A little bit more small ball, right?
Yeah, and I have to. I'm a work in progress as well every year. There's I keep looking in the dugout to see if Josh Hood's on deck or Jack Billings, and this is a different team. And sometimes I get in my funk a little bit, and I say, all right, well, listen, we're different now. We got to play. We got to go small. We got to steal. We got to do this. We got to do that. So every year is a different team. You try to get some sort of semblance of a lineup as to what you're going to go with in the playoffs, and see what that style is. But yeah, definitely a different team. We're actually in a little bit of a slump now, hitting wise. So we're trying to do a couple things in practice past 2 days of trying to right that ship as well.
Yeah, I guess, Coach, this year probably not the same lineup, more than 2 or 3 games in a row, right? I mean, you've kind of had to mix and match, and in years past, like even last year, you kind of had more of a set lineup. So, what's been the biggest difference this year in filling out that lineup card every day? You kind of have to see who's hot and see what the matchups are.
Yeah, I mean, and it's ironic you're saying that because I'm doing that as we speak because I gotta leave in about an hour and a half. But you gotta sometimes you're just on a hunch and say, hey, this kid's hitting the ball, and it's different. In years past, somebody's hot, and I'm gonna leave him here. I'm gonna move him up. this kid, I'm going to move him down, see more fastballs. A little different than in years past, where you could pretty much go to the bank that that lineup. You know who your 3-hitter was, you know who your 4-hitter was. The good part of it is that next year will pretty much be the same. So like I said, we're young, only starting 2-3 seniors max at most in this lineup. So future looks very, very bright.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Coach Mike Bylone of St. Augustine Prep, and Coach, looking at this playoff bracket, it's a little bit of a minefield when you talk. You guys are the 1 seed, but the 2, 3, and 4 are CBA, Bishop Eustace, and Red Bank Catholic. So not an easy, and even number 5 Notre Dame. So it's going to take every bit of everything you guys have to make it through this section. I know you guys have played Bishop Eustace a lot over the last couple of years, and CBA is one of those teams that's always lurking in the playoffs. So how do you get your guys mentally prepared for this kind of 3-game stretch? If you're able to make it to the finals, you're going to have to beat some pretty good teams.
Yeah, I mean it is a minefield. South non-public A. It's an absolute meat grinder. But we've been there before. We've got some kids, that's experienced it in that. That's why I always say the Diamond Classic is such an important tournament for us to prepare, because it's playoff atmosphere. The coaches versus cancer against GC, that's a playoff atmosphere game. To try to go and schedule these type of non-conference games during the season to prepare. Although we do have some kids that have experience in these games, we are still very young, and we have kids. The majority of the kids do not have the experience, so it's going to be interesting to see how we respond in that. It's one and done, so we've been there before. You just got to put your best effort forward and hope you come out on top. But it's very daunting looking at that bracket for sure. I don't care if you're the 1 or the 11. It's a very daunting bracket for sure.
Coach? What's going to be the theme of the pregame speech next Friday? You got anything? Any catchphrases you're going to throw out there?
Depends on what we do these next 2 games. I know we're on a 2-game slide here, but no, just at this point in the season, like I said, I try not to reinvent the wheel. Maybe when I was a younger coach, we tried to reinvent things the 11th hour, but just play loose. It's the same game you've been playing since you were 4 or 5 years old. It's baseball. Good things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. We have the experience. We got the target on our back. Stay loose and play our game, and we should come out on top.
Coach, real quick before we let you go, what would be your advice to some younger coaches out there who are maybe making their first playoff appearance? I'm sure you remember back then when it was your first time in the playoffs. What would you say to a guy like that who's getting ready for maybe a public school playoff game Monday? He's never been there, and it can be overwhelming your first time.
No doubt. I certainly remember, and I can't believe it's been that long ago already. But just stay true to what got you there. Like I had touched on. You sometimes when you get to that point, it's almost like you're trying not to fail, and you're trying to reinvent different things. And you got there for a reason. Stay with what you believe in. Believe in your players. Win, lose, draw. Every game's going to be a learning experience for you, and next year you may do something different. I mean, I bunted with 2 outs, or I tried to bunt with 2 outs with a man on third in the state final last year. So, there is no Bible. There is no encyclopedia for any of this stuff.
Great stuff, as always, Coach. We appreciate it. I hate to cut you short, but I know you've got a busy morning ahead of you, and we're up against the break. But always great talking baseball with you. Good luck in the state playoffs, and we'll catch up with you down the road, bud.
Sully, always nice talking to you. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Thanks, man.